Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I want to use this opportunity to welcome all of you who are present at this webinar, and to fresh entrants or like freshmen. I congratulate you on securing admission to your various universities, and I wish you all the best. As Khaisa earlier mentioned, my name is Lukmani Idrisu. Currently, I'm an international student at the University of Vaasa, and I study in the master's program called the Strategic Business Development Program. Yes, to tell you a little bit a story, I will use my story actually to to give you tips on how you can hack your way through. When I came here as an international student, I came here somewhere around 2014, that is 6 years ago. So I was studying international business. And just when I arrived in Finland, our focus was, or personally, my focus was to excel academically. So my focus was to just try to get good grades and so on. And then perhaps when I am in my final year, I may be ready to start my career. And that was the big mistake I did in my life. So when I came here in Finland, I I only focused on academics, and the job I could only get was to be a cleaner, and that was the only thing I was doing. But for you to, I mean, work in your field, you need to do more than that. So yes, I realized that after graduation, I was applying for jobs and I couldn't get. So what I decided what to do was to apply for the Finnish language course, which was a 10-month program. So through the program, we have internship that we do. So through that, I got an internship to work in my field at the Vaasa University of Applied Sciences. That's my own school. So I work in the marketing department and the international study office. And through this internship, I got an opportunity to work at the Chamber of Commerce, which is the Ostrobothnia Chamber of Commerce. And Mariska talked about hidden jobs. So these hidden jobs comes in many ways and many forms. And it's true, getting somewhere to get somewhere, getting an experience to get you where you want to go, or getting to know certain people to get you to that dream job you always, or to that job you always dream about. So yeah, as I said, at the Chamber of Commerce, I worked as a specialist for the Employ the Youth campaign. It's actually a campaign by the Chamber of Commerce that kind of challenge the area or the regional companies to employ the youth in the summer, and it includes international students as well. So through that, I have met a lot of industry personnel and industry gurus, and through that, I got to understand how the Finnish working life is, as well as how to actually get to easily, I mean, get your way into the Finnish job market. So what's the experience that I have had? I would like to use that as an opportunity. I mean, to give you certain tips that may aid you to, to achieve your dreams or get to realize your career goals here in Finland. So first off, I'm using my mistake now to guide you. First off, immediately you come to Finland. Let's take this situation for instance, where most of international students may be coming the second semester. Don't waste time. Immediately you are admitted to a Finnish institution, the city that you are, you have to immediately start to assess yourself. Okay, the program that I'm coming to study, what does it entail? So maybe I'm studying international business, and international business is more of marketing and more of marketing, HR, and accounting. Which one is like which of those majors suits me? What can I do best? You assess yourself. Then you then scour through the companies in the region, or in the, if you are in Tampere, your region is Pirkanmaa. So in the Pirkanmaa region, you try to scour companies that are there, and then look at their organizational culture. Do they accept internationals? And the course you are studying or the program you are studying, um, does it have any relevance to do with the operations and activities of that company? So try to score as much as companies as possible. Then you also, relative to your skills or the program you are studying, then you then try to do what we call network, start networking. And for you to first of all create a strategy to network is to try to know the Finnish culture. That's why it is very important, as Mariska said, to know the Finnish culture, know the kind of people they are, how they respond to stimuli, how they go about their things. If you know how to actually if you know how Finns behave and how they go about things, it makes it easier to approach them. And one thing is like mostly they wouldn't approach you unless you do. And when you do, trust me, you will love them. And when you also take the effort to even speak Finnish, even if you are not fluent, it's just, oh, um, you learned maybe a few Finnish in class and you see a Finn and you say, hey, Mina Olen, then you mention your name, then you exchange greeting and say Kitos. They appreciate it. How do you feel? I'm asking you in the comment box. Anyone can answer. How do you feel when someone who is not you, who is not part of you, speaks your language? How do you feel? I would like to see your answers in the comment box. I believe you feel so happy and you would want to aid the person. That's how Finns also behave. So you begin to network, try to know their culture, and then because we have less time, I believe another time when there is a webinar, and then we'll talk more on networking. I would so much love to help with how to network with Finns. So you start networking with the companies, the employees of the companies that interest you. So not every employee, but try to look at those employees and the department they work, if it is relative to the program you are studying or the skills you'll be learning in the university. So then you start building relationship. Relationship building with friends is strategic and professional, but I don't know. I don't know how many how much time I have left, but I would, let me just give you an example. For instance, you are a marketing student and you want to network with someone who is a Finn in a in a in a in a on LinkedIn, for instance. You try to scout through their profile, look at how they've their accomplishments and how they are able to, achieve their dreams. Then you can just personalize a note and say, oh, hi, my name is my name is Lukmanu Idrisu. I am from this country, and I have gotten admission to study so and so university with in this program. However, I scout through your profile and I realized that what you are doing corresponds to what I have dreamed of, or my career dream. It will be so I'll be so glad to network with you. You understand? So when you personalize a note like this, the person will respect you, will feel respected, and will accept you. Then when you get when you get the response, perhaps, oh, nice to network with you, then you then craft another message later on and say, oh, I'm so happy to have networked with you. So then you start asking questions related to her work and operations, but in a professional way. I think we don't have time, so I will leave this for now, and then another day when we're talking about networking and building relationship with friends, i will I will explain more on that. So if you are able to network and build the relationship with them, then it becomes easier. Your face becomes known to them, not physically, but online. Then you never know when you never know when you may need an internship opportunity in that company, and then you can seek for help. And last but not the least is you think out of the box. Now that we are in a pandemic, or in a pandemic era, there are a lot of problems in every company. So this is the time for you as a student. Don't mind whether you are a freshman. You have to research. That's why I said, through networking with people, you ask them questions about their company and the challenges they are facing. They can tell you the challenges they are facing. You can use that as kind of you can research on that and create a solution for that program, for that problem. That's why we have something we call value value validated projects. These are projects you do by trying to, scout through companies and look at their problems, take a look at our problems, and then through researching their problems, you find solutions to them and then present to them. These are one of the ways you could get job in Finland without actually applying. So when you try to give company solution without them soliciting for, you've already added value to that company, and even if they weren't ready to hire you, they may even give you an opportunity, if not now, but later. So and another thing, last but not the least, tip I would add is involve yourself in competition. Like, try to be resolute. You always try as much as you can to involve yourself in like this kind of industry hack competitions and so on, because these big companies always organizes that kind of program. So you participate in these competitions to hone problem solving skills, and through that, you never know, you can get an opportunity from that. I can give a typical example of one by Vartila in Vasa, in which with their smart tech hub technology program, they always host like a hacking problem solving project where the winners are automatically absorbed by the company and given internship skills. So you may be an international, and you can easily find your way to the Finnish job market easily, depending on how you go about yourself and so on. But first, as I said, start earlier, network, and then think out of the box. Not forgetting learning the language and learning the customs of Finnish. Thanks so much, and I'm so happy to talk to you all.
Today I'm gonna try and give you a few practical tips, because I feel like that's the best way to go. It's important that you know already by now, as Lukumano said, without wasting too much time, that you need to start acting already now in order to get employment in Finland after you're done your studies. So first of all, to start, I want to welcome you all to Finland, even though maybe some of you might be somewhere else than Finland. You might be online checking this, or yes, somewhere else because of Corona situations, but hopefully most of you are already here, and some of you will be here soon, so can't wait for you to join us here in Finland. And I will go straight to my tips and tricks. First of all, I want you to know yourself first. So I have seen plenty of CVs, interviews of internationals and international talent, and I can say that the first thing you have to do is to know your strengths, your skills, and your abilities, and knowing what you are selling to the employers. Many people don't have that clear. They are still studying, they are still finding themselves, of course, that's normal, but I want you to really focus during your studies on finding out what it is that you bring to a company, to an employer here in Finland. If you don't know it yourself, then you cannot tell that to the company or to the employer. So if you can't tell that to them, they will not know and they will not choose you. So the most important thing, it's the first step that you need to do. You need to learn about yourself during your studies. How do you make a difference? What do you bring to the table? How do you sell yourself to the potential employers? And don't wait for the very last minute and having your CV full of things that you have done, but not really knowing who you are and what you are selling to the employer. If that makes any sense, please do share your own ideas about this. I would really like to know in the comments, in the chat, if this is something that you feel like you need to be able to do. So know who you are. That's something important. The second tip about entering the Finnish job market is quality over quantity. And what I mean with that is, don't try and go through this with the traditional recruitment process of sending, for example, 100, 150, 200 CVs, all of the same CV over and over, hoping that somebody will reply. Because most of the times you will not hear back from companies or from employers if you simply send your CV, the same CV over and over. So what I want you to do, it will be to find out about the companies, about their values and about the people working in those companies, and try to find out what fits with you and which company would fit you and where would you fit yourself inside a company. So focus on trying to tailor your CV for those companies, focus on exactly a few companies and try to stand out to them instead of just trying to do the quantity side of it. So a game number, so to say. Try to make yourself appealing and sell your professional persona to them, because there is a competition, and there is a competition not only with the Finns, but also with other internationals who are doing exactly the same thing. So the way that you do this is don't focus on trying to send many CVs all over Finland and hoping for the best, but actually focus on knowing what you want and then try and go get it and explain to the companies and the employers why it is that you want to join them specifically. I think that made the trick for me many times, actually. Most definitely it did. My last tip is about what I call the bubble, and that's about not making the mistake of limiting yourself to your own bubble and your comfort zone. So the idea is that it's good to network with people from the same home country as you, and also other internationals that are here in Finland and you find yourself that you feel comfortable with. Try to make the effort to get to know the Finns. Try to immerse yourself in their culture and to try and use their language as much as possible, as somebody else already said, as Lukuman and Mariska said. And also, as Mariska said, show the effort, show that you are making an effort. And I can really say, from my point of view, it helped a lot when, as soon as I was in Finland, I was already able to say a few words. And even if it wasn't totally right, it was something that people really appreciated. The Finns really appreciate when you try and meet them halfway, so to say. So immerse yourself in the culture, use your communication skills as an advantage, because being a foreigner, you can actually afford to reach out to them and impress them with what you have and your know-how and your communication skills as well. And always keep in mind that there are, yes, cultural differences, and try not to overstep those differences, of course. Try to know what it is that they like and try to give it to them, but also showing them who you are and what you can bring to them as well in a different way. What has worked for me has been mainly the volunteering. So getting to know the Finns, volunteering was probably the one and only way that I managed to use to get to know the Finns. And most of my actual friends right now, the Finns I got to know them through my volunteering experience. So if you can find something that you are interested in and join whatever it is that you find about it, and work your way to get to know more people and more people, because that's pretty much the only way that you can probably find more possibilities and more opportunities for the future. And online works as well, in the sense that, of course, now there is Corona, but Corona doesn't stop you from contacting people online and trying to find out who are the most important people in your business, in your field, for example, in business or in IT or wherever it is, and try to contact them and find out more about them and so on. So I think that that's something that is really important for you to do. Yes. And I am not sure if this is my ending time, but I want to thank you all And I wish you really good luck in Finland. And I definitely hope that you will find me on LinkedIn and connect with me and ask me questions. And yes, just do feel free to contact me, because I want to find out who you are and yes, help you out if I can. So
normally the actual kind of normalized way of applying for jobs, especially as students, is the summer jobs, when somewhere around January, February, March, mostly companies open their doors for summer job applications, right? But you as an international student, your first year should be the time to scout through, as I said, scout the companies which interests you, look at, assess your skills. Two, begin building relationship with employees of the companies you would like to work, so that by the time in your second year, especially if you're in a University of Applied Sciences, you have a mandatory internship. You can start then reaching out to the people for internship opportunities. So I will always say start now by preparing yourself in the first year, and by the time in the second year you'll be so ready to tailor skills and um, your skills and experiences to get where you want to.
we have been working a lot in trying to shape the attitudes of the local companies, the small and medium-sized companies, in order for them to understand that international is a good thing. It brings more to the table than what a Finn might, or it brings something different at least. And we've been trying to do that. We have heard from a lot of companies that do need international talent, and they do want them because they have, let's say, special needs. They have some needs that might be about, for example, exporting or going into another country on the business level, for example, or they might need international expertise like IT that you cannot really find as much in Finland. There is not enough workers that are skilled in IT as there are, for example, if you search in the international pool. So on a level of competencies, I cannot really say, because it depends on the job. It depends a lot on the field. It depends on many different things. Of course, the soft skills that you already might have a lot of, because if you plan to go live in another country and do this kind of life, that's something that is really showing a lot of soft skills, like being able to problem solve, being able to react to different environments and so on. So that is something that you already have and that you can use to your advantage when you sell yourself, for example. I would say that that's something that you can use. Other types of competences, I'm not really sure. It depends, but I
So
think that
to,
this is.
to add to what Eleonora has said, there's one thing as an international you always have over FINT. That is the ability to speak, to communicate, and not feel shy. So these are certain things you could express, in you. But how do you do that, especially when you're applying for a job? Don't just only, leave your CV, add CV videos. With my interactions with HR gurus, I've realized that they pay attention when you leave your CV as well as a video to the CV. You are given an extra attention because they believe, one, you have spent time to really apply for the job, and in that CV video they get to know who you really are. So, well, in the CV video you might say, I am this, I am that, I have done this, I have done that, and also you talk about your like interests or your hobbies. They get to know who you really are, and the way you express yourself, pedagogically. When they look, they get to know the kind of person, or assume who you really are, so it helps. So you having value as an international, it's you look at the values and then try to positively talk about your value as an international to recruiters, and I believe that will give you the chance. I remember, let me just chip in this. I remember when we were in one course, which was a mentoring program, and we were told to talk about the values of us as internationals. And one woman in my team or in my group was saying that, well, one value I have is my language as a Chinese, because yes, I come from China and I speak our language. So I have realized that in Finland, for instance, when I get the opportunity to work in the pork industry, where in Finland, when they slaughter the pig, they only um, they throw the hands and the feet. I mean the feet. They throw it. They throw it off, right? So it's sustainably not appropriate, and it is also loss of money. But in my country, as in China, the feet of the pig is a delicacy. So when I come to your company as a Chinese, I would create a chain of exports of these things you see as waste, as profitability and sustainability. So here she has already talked about her value, as so you already given what you can give. I mean, you've already talked about what you can give as an international, and I mean, you saying it proudly and be able to speak about it, I mean, gives them an impression about the kind of attitude you have. So you should always, I mean, think out of the box, know your strengths and how your background has shaped you, and how companies or employers can benefit from where you come from. So